We're underway, round the 32 FFA Cup from Barlow Park in Cairns. It's Cairns FC up against Armadale. Armadale in the red and black stripes. Cairns in the blondie white strip with the orange shorts. First possession here for Armadale. Rahima was trying to squeeze the ball towards the area. Got it on there by Taylor. Away by Adam. King on the left-hand side. And referee in for an early chat to Sean Owens, the Cairns FC right back, who's going to be asked to remove the compression wear from under his jersey because it's a different colour to the strip, it looks like.
That's why are we doing that now? You'd think that would have been sorted before we got out here, but anyway, on we go.
So it comes from Atkins, long into the box, and foul spotted by the referee. Some relief for Cairns FC. Both these sides 7th in their respective NPLs. Cairns with a 9-win, 2-draw, 11-loss record, 43 goals for, 48 against. Winless in their last 4, but before that streak, they had 5 wins in a row. They're looking like they would be the form team of the NPL Queensland a couple of months ago. Looking to make a finals charge, but those claims now snuffed out. It's not a marker for his keeper in Riley. Gisman on that left-hand side. Carroll beating the offside trap, and Carroll forces a save out of Hutchings early on in this encounter.
Yeah, excellent effort. He was definitely onside, made the run in behind. What he did do well is he came back onto his, what looks to me like his preferred foot. He struck that really well. Couldn't see any options inside. Good strike, good save. Perhaps his only other option was their top scorer, in Chris O'Hare was perhaps an option, but can't fault him having a strike from there. Good effort.
Fixture of Far North Queensland football, Jamie Carroll into his 8th year of representing Far North Queensland at the state level. Such pace he can utilise as well. And he'll have this corner from the far side of the pitch, and it swings away by Anil, it looked like. So Cairns again in possession. Coppin, Gisman, and Carroll. Coppin getting involved again. Orica for Owens. Good win by Yazidis. Instructions coming from Chris Jackson, the Armadale striker. Armadale, as I said before, also 7th in their competition with 9 wins, 5 draws and 8 losses. Some faint hope of potentially still making the finals. Undefeated in their last 4 league games. Add to that their win in the Belt-Up Cup. Slow start to the season, only winning 1 of their first 7, but certainly coming home with a wet sail. And as Nick mentioned before, their first piece of silverware since they were promoted about 14 years ago into the top flight of WA football. A club that's by their coaches, John O'Reilly, own a mission that has been mid to lower table, but now a place on the national stage. And Nick, we've already heard them tonight, some vocal supporters. There is some vocal support.
Yeah, look, they've done, to travel the distance they have, I think it's testament to them. They brought about 50 people across with them. I believe Trent Sainsbury is an ex-player, former soccer. His dad's actually here. He's made the journey across. He's a member of the club. Bit of a story going around that, just let this unfold here. A bit of a story going around that perhaps Trent has helped financially to get a few of the members across here. I don't know if that's 100% true, but if it is, fair play to him. But look, they're a fantastically supported club. Obviously, they're of English heritage. You'll hear the songs throughout the game. But they're certainly adding to the atmosphere.
Just hemmed in that defensive corner at the moment. Throw-in goes straight to Owens. Clears away. Back for Cairns is Joe Zupo. Away by the youngster Jackson Riley. In goal for Cairns this evening. Their usual first choice keeper Pierce Clark unavailable to be selected after joining from the Bentley Greens in mid-May, therefore cup tied. Stopped Pierce from scoring a goal on the weekend in Cairns' 3-1 loss to Magpies Crusaders. Playing in the outfield, coming on as a substitute. Sides past Jackson.
Interesting how Armadale have set up in it. Jackson's their top scorer. I think he's got 22 from 20 games. Looks to me like they just want to isolate him up front. He's a pretty strong-looking character, I'd imagine. Quite physical and quick, and they seem to be isolating him, Armadale, a little. There's not a lot of support around him at the moment. I think for him to be effective, they're going to have to get closer to him as the game goes on.
The striker up top. Chris Jackson played non-league football in his native England. Hat-trick on the weekend in Armadale's win against Subiaco, 4-2 win. And that took Chris Jackson to top of the pops in terms of his scoring in the NPLWA. Taylor. Orica. Hassling going on, and Kavanagh trying to get the better of his opponent in Kenner, able to deliver the cross in. Claiming the last touch was off the Cairns player.
He did well there. Kavanagh was resilient, took his play on a couple of times, and he looks quite lively. He's got a little bit of pace, good acceleration. He did well there.
Queensland schoolboy rep, still 18 years old, had 15 months playing in the Spanish third division. A relieving free kick for Armadale. Sam Hutchings, the Armadale keeper, to have this free kick, as we see Chris O'Hare from Cairns FC on screen. Once again, the referee picks out a free kick. Still a challenge from Sotomaca. Be the man to have this free kick that he booms into the box over the head of his teammate. There's claims for a corner, but Jared Gillette will fall on deaf ears. What have you made of the opening exchanges so far, Nick?
It's pretty disjointed at the moment. Neither team's really settled. Armadale themselves look quite nervous, and they've really hardly strung 2 or 3 passes together. A lot of long balls. Cairns have looked dangerous that once on the break with a little bit of pace, but both teams look a little bit nervous to me at the moment. Need someone now to get their foot on the ball and try and string a few passes together, because at the moment it's just win it, knock it long and then push on, which not making for a great spectacle so far.
Second leading goal scorer in the NPL Queensland this year. 20 goals his return so far, but without a goal in the last 4. And a speculative shot from Owens from the right back position.
He's hit that well. It's a shank. It's gone way wide, but geez, he got some power behind it. There is a fair breeze blowing down the ground here. That's definitely behind Cairns in this first half. The ground, as you can see here with the athletics track around, it's pretty open, so any breeze does have a fair effect on the game, and it's definitely in Cairns' favour this first half.
Jackson. All the way back to the keeper in Hutchings. And Jackson in a battle against his Cairns opponent. He's just remained down and Referee will bring a halt to play and award the free kick Armadale's way. And a yellow card as well for Flock's slaughter marker.
He looks dumbfounded, but I think Jared Gillette's our best referee in the country, so I'm going to go with him there. It looked to me like the challenge was a little bit late, and he's stamping his authority early, saying, look, you're not going to do that. And now he's got his yellow card. He can't do it again.
So the referee completing his paperwork again. It will be Galami from the dead ball situation. Just one man protecting the free kick at the moment. That's O'Hare. Here's Galami's efforts. Rising to it first was Riley. Shadow Queensland schoolboy keeper. 17 years old, still young. As I said before, usually the reserve keeper for Cairns, but played on the weekend in the number 1. And backs up again tonight in the FFA Cup. And by Kenner. Kenner again involves himself. Jackson. Cairns can't clear their defensive third. They've turned the ball straight back over. Zedis. Atkins it was in the 17. Crossing from the right and dealt with by Riley.
Yeah, he claimed that well, but that was clearly the best passage of play that we've seen from Armadale. They finally got the ball down and moved it around from side to side. Got a bit of width in their play and got a good crossing. I should say the young kid in goal is only 17, I think you said, but one thing he's got a decent strike of the ball on him with that wind behind him, and he's pretty accurate with his kicking, so that could be an avenue for attack for Cairns as the game goes on.
Again sent in Jackson's direction. Slaughter marker back for his keeper. The thumbs up from Chris Jackson, though, for the delivery. Well, Cairns, they almost didn't make it to this point of the competition. They were very lucky not to be knocked out at the first hurdle. Their first game in round 5 was up against the local Far North Queensland Premier League side, Southside Comets, who must have figured that they were going to cause a major upset. 2-0 up with 89 minutes gone. Cairns down to 9 men. Cairns score 2 goals in injury time to send it through to extra time. And it ends up 4-3 Cairns in the end.
With 9 men.
With 9 men. Incredible. Probably the most incredible game ever played in the FFA Cup, that one.
Yeah, it'd have to be right up there. Look, it's obvious by the crowd here tonight that there's a little bit of separation up here between the local football fraternity and this NPL club, Cairns. It's the lack of support, I guess, that's come out here tonight. So I would imagine the local clubs would have really relished the opportunity to play against these guys in the cup.
Well, the local side hasn't beaten Cairns in the FFA Cup. As I said before, they're the only member federation side, including their previous history as the Far North Queensland Heat, to be in all 5 editions of the FFA Cup. Their round 6 game, they took on North Queensland United and had a relatively easy 3-0 victory then, but then had to do it tough against Magpies Crusaders, who were up 3-0 at half-time, but 5 second-half goals to Cairns. Nick's shaking his head because, yeah, this is a true story. Look, I'm not making this up.
A remarkable cup run, you could say. Then they could have been out on, well, you'd imagine they were going out on 2 occasions. So, every now and then teams have these cup runs where you just see a little bit of destiny for them.
5-3 victors in that round 7 game to send them through to the national stages again. Coppin with the layoff. Corica, famous name in football up this way, hails from Innisfail, the nephew of Steve Corica, whose Sydney FC are in action on the main channel tonight against Rockdale City. Paul Reid has been riding the tightrope all week. The coach of Rockdale City, also involved as a development officer at Sydney FC.
Yeah, I saw that. I had the great pleasure of playing with Steve back in the Marconi days.
O'Hare, another fixture of the Heat slash. Cairns set up.
had the good fortune of playing a season with Steve at Marconi back in the mid-90s, and he was mid to early 90s, and he was certainly one of the real talents that came out of football in this country at that time. Got a couple of injuries to his knee, which held him back a bit once he went overseas, but he was an outstanding talent, Steve.
And Harry could be on a similar trajectory, as I said before, from Innisfail, about an hour and a half south down the road. Another Queensland schoolboy, and made his senior debut at the age of 15 for Innisfail, before coming to the Heat, or sorry, I should say Cairns, this year.
I'll tell you one thing he hasn't got that Steve had is electric pace. Steve was one of the quickest players I saw. And Harrison looks at, here we go.
And here's a player with electric pace in Carroll. I think Armadale have done their homework, so they came to him very quickly. And Galami will rescue the situation for Armadale. Cairns unable to get away an effective shot near the edge of the area there. The feet of Riley. Corica. And Anil, who was came off the field late in the game against Subiaco on the weekend. Coach John O'Reilly just exercising some precautions. Armadale conceded 2 late goals to Subiaco on Saturday. No worry picking up another win in the WA NPL. Again, another long throw in into the box. Made by Owens. A sliding challenge in there by Anil. And the locals make their feelings known as Taylor was upended, so second yellow card of the night.
Probably doesn't look as bad on the replay as I thought it initially was. I thought he might have come in, left the ground and slid in, but look, it was unnecessary challenge. I don't think he didn't need to do it. Just hold your ground there. Deserved yellow card. Does he leave the ground? Look, it's pretty cynical. I don't think he ever had any intention of doing anything other than bringing the player down, but Jared Gillett handled it pretty well. Yellow card, and that, you know, let's get on with it.
Not too many complaints from the Cairns FC players. Free kick delivered in by Slottermarker. And it evades everyone. Carroll thought he was unfairly infringed upon. Jared Gillett disagreed.
We're only 18 minutes in now, and two of the central defender on each side has got themselves a yellow card. So they've got, you know, the best part of 70 minutes now where they've got to be very careful.
Armadale's path to this stage of the competition, well, it's a bit of a familiar thing. Defeated Rockingham 3-2, defeated Balcatta 3-2. Now another decision here for Jared Gillett to make, and the Armadale player in Bo Rahim has been sent off. Jared Gillett obviously deeming it an obvious goal-scoring opportunity.
Geez, I don't know. I thought as soon as he reached for the left hand, you could tell it was going to be a red card. But look, he's through, but gee, the other defender's close, and he's still probably 30, 35 yards out. I would have been comfortable with the yellow card there. I think that's a bit harsh, and that's really going to make it difficult for the visitors now. But yeah, look, I'm not overly comfortable with that. I thought a yellow would have, I don't know what you think, Rafe, but I thought a yellow would have sufficed there. He had a long way to go to get a strike on goal.
He did, yeah. Visiting supporters give a cheer nonetheless to Bo Rahim as he trudges off to the dressing sheds. Nick, I think the visitors are making more noise than the locals here this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. They certainly are. They're fantastic value. You see their banners up there. Actually got a picture of Trent Sainsbury on one of them, so he's obviously their pride and joy. Probably Trent's old man's leading on the fence there as well, I'd imagine. Look, it's going to make it hard for him now. They've got to go the best part of 70 minutes down to 10 men.
Chris Jackson asking his coach John O'Reilly, well, how do we adjust to this situation now? Carroll it will be with the free kick. Four in the wall for Armadale. At the edge of the 18-yard box, waiting for this free kick to be taken by Carroll. The wall jumps. It's up straight in the back of one of the players, and Jackson has come searching for the ball. Well, not only have they had a lot of travel to do, Armadale, now down to 10 men. And another free kick in an attacking position for the locals. Once again, it's Taylor who's being brought down.
Yeah, they want to keep their composure here. That was, that was really unnecessary. Just barged into his back, a silly challenge. Just want to keep their nerve here a bit. Armadale, they look to me, watching them warm up, they've got plenty of experienced characters out there. They do look like they've got plenty of characters that don't mind a scrap looking at them. So they just need to keep their nerve here and be a bit composed.
As the locals now put up a chance of their own. Here comes the free kick, punched away by Hutchings. Diminutive Kavanagh up against two opponents. No foul, says the assistant and the referee.
One thing it has done, it's livened things up. The last 5 minutes have been certainly the best 5 minutes of the game. It's interesting to see. Looks like they're just going to go with one up front now. Jackson's going to be up there on his own. To be honest, he's been isolated a lot, but certainly up until half time, that looks like how they're going to go.
Number 7 is Charlie Kenner for Armadale. They've got to keep their heads, as Nick said. They just need to take a breath and reorganise themselves. Run by Coppin, who played some youth football at Sydney FC, played in 2 NPL Queensland Grand Finals, one for Brisbane City back in 2013, and then for the Heat in 2016. Claims of handball has been spotted. So midway through the first half, this match not been without its drama, despite the scoreboard attendant not having been troubled. Galami on free kick duties again. This time swung a bit wider out towards the right. Dealt with by Cairns. Coppin. Like it was Isman in the left back situation. Former player at the Northern Fury who made the trek up to Cairns in the Heat a couple of years ago. Answered an SOS to come back to Cairns after being on work placement in Emerald. Made his debut again for Cairns on the weekend and now finds himself in the matchday squad for the FFA Cup.
It's amazing the distances these guys travel, isn't it, just to play football. Every second week they're off to the Cairns guys. They're off to Brisbane or the Gold Coast every second week. It's a massive commitment, time, and time away from family. It's just absolute love of the game.
Shield there. I don't think people in the other states quite realise. I calculated it a few years ago. The Cairns players at that stage basically gave up 6 calendar days per year in just travel. A few of them travelled down the range from Mareeba, another hour 3 times a week each way for training.
Yeah, well, that's right. You go up to the tablelands to Mareeba, which is another area that's produced some fine players. Former youth international Wayne Shrow is from up Mareeba way, the Mareeba Bulls.
Rosidis for Jackson. Jackson held by Riley.
So yeah, it's just a tremendous commitment these guys make, and it's certainly not for financial gain. The money in the Queensland NPL is not going to make a huge difference to anyone's life, so it's a massive sacrifice they make.
And as we found out today, it's actually quicker to catch a plane to Melbourne than what it is to Cairns from Brisbane.
It is too.
It is. Only by about 10 minutes, but it's still significant. Kavanagh and O'Hare. Chris O'Hare played full time at Halifax Town in days gone by, as well as in the Irish premiership, some time also in the NPL Victoria. Coppin.
It does have the look of a lower league, non-league English game about this at the moment. There's not a lot of passing going on. It's physical contest, get the ball, knock it forward, press. It has that look about it.
Kavanagh. Cairns trying to look for some penetration. It's Taylor. Corica. Owens. Stepping out of the way was O'Hare. Tried to link up with Taylor. Did Owens, unsuccessful in doing so. Half a counter potentially for Armadale. The ball at the feet of Residus. Corica held at close quarters by Galami. Booming ball sent long by Billy Quincroft, who's been the king of social media and banter in the lead up to this game.
What have I missed there?
Oh, he's just been having a bit of banter, looking forward to the trip.
Oh, okay.
Bit of banter with his teammate Chris Jackson as well.
Given myself a social media ban.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
Self-imposed?
Self-imposed, yeah. No one seemed overly concerned, which was disappointing. Haven't had anyone say, oh, can you come back? It is what it is, I guess.
I'm sure when you're good and ready to face the public again.
Oh, come A-League time, I'll be ready to go, mate.
Not far away now.
No, it's not.
Looming on us. The A-League teams start to make their journey tonight in the FFA Cup. Made by Hutchings. Just sits up in that wind that Nick Meredith's been talking about. Jackson finds himself up against two defenders. And the cross will rebound off the Heat player. The corner for Armadale on the far side.
That is their best outlet down there, right-hand side. Richmond down there, he's the one that's made a couple of surging runs down there. Give them a bit of width and look to get a ball in. They're not getting much down this left-hand side, so he certainly looks the more likely one.
Residis has this corner. And towards the penalty spot, nodded on by Jackson. The first time that either keeper's really being tested tonight, and Jackson Riley reacts well, tipping it over the bar.
Look, when you're down a man, this is one of the avenues to goal that still remains the same, the set piece. Great header. He looks that sort of character, physical in the box. Young keeper did well though, just tipped it over. But look, good set piece. That to me looks like they look like a team that do set up, base their game a lot around their set pieces. They've got 3 or 4 big guys in there. Looking at them there, they're taller, stronger than the Cairns fellas.
Similar route it looked like, but this time the Cairns defender got to it in front of Jackson. Kenner lofts the ball high. Annell. No, it wasn't kept in. Goal kick here for Cairns. Special shout out to those Armadale supporters who might be watching us from the Haynes Bar and Grill. Special function being held there tonight. No doubt you've gone straight from work. What time is it in the west at the moment? Just after 6 o'clock, or just on 6 o'clock. So good evening if you're watching on tonight. We might have been better off there, Nick. A $12 steak special there tonight.
Yeah, sounds all right. Love Perth. Been over there a few times over the last few years with A-League commitments and that. It's a fantastic place. I always look forward to going to Perth.
I was there for the first game a couple of seasons ago when the Glory supporters hired the plane that had the sign writing on the back of it, on the back of Bessart Barish's late penalty in the A-League Grand Final the season before.
Ah, that was the game. Was that at Subiaco?
It was at Subiaco.
That's right, yep. And I think, was it a Billy Mehmet goal that won the game for Perth?
Could have been, yes.
I think it was, yeah. No, there was certainly a rivalry there between Brisbane and Perth after that grand final.
Meanwhile, Armadale with another promising attack. It's a better phase of play for them. Atkins, and waiting was Jackson to test Riley. Secondary cross from Residis. Plenty of encouragement coming in from both coaches. Galami. Claims of handball against Atkins. Once again, Jared Gillette wouldn't be swayed. Jackson again the target.
It's got a bit sloppy, Cairns. They look like they were fairly in control after the send-off, but probably the last 10 minutes has been quite sloppy. They've given the ball away easy, and you'd have to say on the balance, on the last 10 minutes anyway, that Armadale have looked the better side.
We see Joe Zuppo on screen, the Canadian. Previously been a part of the FFA Cup national stages with the Devonport Strikers. One of the visa players for Cairns FC this year. This looks to be O'Hare. Dispossessed. Once again, the chant of the visiting supporters goes up. Blasted in towards goal, and again, Riley brought into the action. This time from Quincroft.
Oh, good effort by the big fella. He's pushed himself forward there. He's got just sloppy again from Cairns. It's a lazy header just down to where he was. Difficult technique to hit that ball. It bounced up, but he hit it well. And look, the young keeper did well. I think you'd expect him to make the save, but yeah, the last 10 minutes they've come to life, Armadale. Perhaps a little bit of a back to the wall mentality. It's steeled them a bit. They're going pretty well now.
Corner high this time, trying to utilise some of that height up front for Armadale. Lone man up front for Cairns is Taylor. As I said before, the second leading goal scorer in the NPL Queensland. Do you know who's first, Nick?
Yeah, I do. I looked it up today, actually. Now, I'll get his name wrong. It's the young guy from Western Pride who's signed for the Brisbane Roar. And I don't think he's played an NPL game for 2 months at
Dylan
least.
Wenzel Halls. I think it was the start of May, potentially.
Yeah.
And he still leads the goal-scoring record.
Yeah, I noticed he's on 23 goals and still, I think he's three ahead. But as you said, he wouldn't have played for 10 weeks, would he? So he had an amazing record. He'd be very interested to see how he goes with the Roar. He's a young guy that was in the Roar youth program, drifted away, and he's gone back to the NPL and scored just an amazing amount of goals. Just been unbelievable, his strike rate. And we're really looking forward to seeing how he goes.
Be remarkable if he can hang on. There's still 4 rounds of the Queensland NPL to go. If he can hang on to that goal-scoring record, it'd be remarkable. And the ball slides to the left of the upright. Once again, referee Gillette points to the corner. Cairns player in the background. Let's have a look at this scramble, Nick.
Yeah, it was Quincroft got his head to it. I think he might have thought he'd knocked on his own net there for a minute, but yeah, it was definitely off him. He's a threat in the air, as you can see there, the number 9, Quincroft. He's a big boy, but as he showed just before, he's got some technique with his feet as well. O'Hare,
the man that was troubled, back to his feet. There's a word to the referee, doesn't mind having a word or two. Chris O'Hare, his corner is swung in once more. Backed away. Owens along the ground, a grass burner. Esmond Carroll in towards the penalty spot. And it was Taylor in conjunction with the keeper, Hutchings. And a goal kick for the visitors.
Well, the first 15 minutes of this game, first 10-15 minutes was pretty ordinary. We've had good play since then. What has happened is we're starting to get a bit of width into the game and get some crosses in behind. And that was a decent ball in there. The keeper, I thought, perhaps should have held that, been a little bit braver and just kept that. But no damage. They got the goal kick out of it anyway.
You were surprised with the size of the playing field here, given the athletics track around it. I thought it might have been a bit more confined than what it was when you first
yeah, it's a big field. Perhaps, I think when you actually stand out on there, the athletics track perhaps makes it look a little bit bigger because of the open surroundings. But, it's a beautiful surface. they had 200 people basically on here camping all weekend, which you wouldn't know. It's come up in pretty good order. And as you said, multi-purpose venue. We've seen some NRL games here. But yeah, nice big field. Not a fan of running tracks around football grounds, but you know, in regional towns, they're multi-purpose venues.
Carroll, Kavanagh, Isman brings it into the attacking half for the home side. Kenner backtracks, sent away by Simpson. Straight to Coppin though, although Armadale with the ball again. The diminutive Kavanagh, Isman, Zupo, slaughter marker, and now Owens. Taylor, Corica, feed it through for O'Hare, and again a desperate Armadale foot saves the day for the visitors, as it looked like O'Hare was going to shape up from close range.
Yeah, best chance of the game. Yeah, I don't think he did a good job of finishing that. I thought if he'd have gone across the keeper there to the keeper's right into that bottom corner, he'd have been pretty safe. Excellent little ball through there by Corica, and just hesitated a little bit there with the finish and gave the keeper a chance to get close.
A little look of frustration from O'Hare and the drop of the head. Got a chance to redeem themselves. Cairns from the corner. And by Taylor. Residis. Carroll and Coppin with that distinctive haircut. Here's the excitement machine, Carroll. And Adel gets in the way of his attempted cross. Build up from the back through the keeper in Riley. Turn comes in from Kavanagh. Once again, there's some protest from the Cairns players looking for a free kick. Get the ball back into play quickly. Coppin. Kavanagh. O'Hare goes down looking for some contact. And the referee waves his arm away for any claims from Chris O'Hare.
Yeah. I don't think there was much in that. I think he threw himself to the ground there. He's perhaps a little bit fortunate not to pick himself up a yellow card for throwing himself to the ground.
Saw one last week that Jason McQuarso was booked for simulation in the game Lions versus Olympic. Richmond. Jackson sizes up Owens. Deflected, attempted cross. Galami. And once again, Kenner continued on his run, but Galami didn't pick up on the signal. Quincroft. Way by Isman before Simpson can arrive. Armadale in possession once more, and the assistant sticks up the flag on that far side against Bronson Coppin. Free kick will go Armadale's way. Coppin just pushing over the Armadale player in that far corner.
Oh, silly foul, just no need for it. There was two of them there. He wasn't going to get a crossing, and now they've knocked him over, barreled him over into touch, and now they've got a set piece, which, as we've seen, looks one of their best outlets to goal. Silly foul.
So Residis was the man infringed against, and he'll now have the opportunity to take the resulting free kick. Easy there for Cairns. Taylor beats the defender. Taylor now inside the box, tried to line up the Cairns man running through in Carroll. This game ebbing and flowing at the moment. Just over 5 minutes to go to the half-time break. Coppin, Taylor. Owens. And deflection for a Cairns corner. it end to end at the moment. Kavanagh, who's taken over the corner duties. Nodded away by Anil. Coppin, heavy strapping on that right leg. Carroll. Those two good mates. Owens is free here on the right. Well anticipated by Galami. Referee rules in Armadale's direction.
More than happy just to sit there, Armadale, when they're under pressure like that. They've got basically 8 men behind the ball. They're happy to sit in 2 banks of 4. Say to Cairns, if you're good enough to play through us, well, good on you. But they're sitting just outside their penalty area from there. And look, it's going to be, from those sort of situations, very difficult for Cairns to find a way through.
Just saw the Cairns FC coach on screen, Denny Greystone. He's expecting a physical encounter coming into tonight's game. From the footage you've seen of Armadale, here's Jackson. And Owens clears. O'Hare. Carroll throws the arm.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That was a good opportunity there. Carroll's clearly got an edge in pace on his direct opponent there, the fullback. If the ball was played just a little softer through that inside channel, he would have been on his way to goal. So just the quality of that final ball there really let him down.
Denny Greystone, first year as coach of Cairns after making the move from the South Australia NPL, where he was with the South Adelaide Panthers. O'Hare, square for Coppin. Free momentarily got in the way. Carroll, his opponent is Simpson. Here's the pace of Cairns down that left wing through their skipper, Jamie Carroll. Anil clears away. Kenner. Sotomaker. Jackson and Sotomaker go at it. Jackson is fouled. Now there's a bit of a tussle with Bronson Coppin, who is not one to take a step backward. So if there's a bit of a flare-up in the game, you would most likely see Bronson Coppin involved.
Yeah, look, that all seemed fairly nondescript tackle that fell on the ground. There's a little bit of push and shove on the ground, just unnecessary. I don't think anything will come of it. Just get on with it. But yeah, look, certainly, you know, you say Bronson Coppin's a fairly combative character. He has got a heavy strapping on there, and he's certainly not moving as freely as he likes. So that may well add to his frustration.
Referee Jared Gillett coming over for a quiet word as well. Bit of push and shove after. Searching ball into the area. Here's Coppin again. Attempts to release his teammate in Taylor. He's had stints in Brisbane with the Brisbane Strikers, Peninsula Power, as well as the Sunshine Coast Fire. Teacher, I'm led to believe.
Certainly got a good goal scoring record. I think he's got 20 for the season, as we said earlier, but he certainly does look like he's on a bit of a dry run, I think, though you said earlier, Rafe, he hasn't scored for 4 or 5 games, but he's got a bit of pace, and between him and Carroll, their pace, you'd think, could trouble the Armadale defence if they can pick out the right ball. Perhaps the second half with the wind in their face may make it a little bit easier to slip that through ball.
So 45 minutes about to be completed. The fourth official, Alex King, about to hold up the board to indicate just how much stoppage time we'll have. I suggest it wouldn't be any more than a minute. 2 minutes,
Oh,
in
2
fact.
minutes. There you go. The favourite's been beaten.
How did we manage that? Anyway.
Send off.
Send off,
We'll
of
say the
course.
send off, yeah, that might have added a bit. But
2 additional minutes for these sides to attempt to break the deadlock. Well, at the moment, both seem content to just go into the break at 0-0. John O'Reilly lamenting his side's effort against Subiaco at times on the weekend, saying it's a little bit of a scrappy match. Perhaps his players had an eye on this fixture tonight. Would have been difficult for them not to have an eye on it, because it is the biggest game that this club has ever played in their history.
I reckon this team might get involved in a lot of scrappy games. They look to me like that sort of team that not going to string a whole lot of passes together. They're a feisty group, and if it becomes a scrap, they're certainly up for it. They look that sort of team to me.
Seems to be effective at the moment, though, with their form in the WA NPL.
Well, they certainly do have a guy up front in Jackson who can score goals. We've just seen him tonight. He only had a couple of chances, but his header was good. Every time he gets the ball, he's really got one thing in mind, and that's where's the goal. So he's one person that, you know, you have to keep an eye on for the whole 90 minutes. No surprise at all that he scored a stack of goals.
So under 30 seconds to play out in this first half. Just knocking around the ball. Cairns at the moment. Coppin for Carroll. Getting no forward progress at the moment.
Now Armadale are happy for them to do. They're slowly working their way up the field, Armadale now. Their last line's about 30 yards out. They're happy for that to continue.
So at the break in this round of 32 FFA Cup match in Barlow Park in Cairns, it's Cairns FC 0, Armadale 0. Teams back out for the second half. We're scoreless at the break at Barlow Park in Cairns. Armadale, though, do have the inconvenience of being down to 10 men after the send-off of Bo Rahim in the first 20 minutes of this match. Nick Meredith, what do you think the respective coaches would have said to their sides at the break?
Well, certainly the Armadale coach would have had a lot more work to do. He's down to 10 men. He's going to have to tell his team what he wants organisational-wise. They did well after they went down to 10 men, but now they've got a full 45 minutes of that. So he would have been working on his structure of how he wants to play. To me, he's going to go with a 4-4-1. Just keep it like that and just leave Jackson up front on his own. For Cairns, I think the main thing for me would be to try and maintain the width. Keep the ball, keep the front three, if you can, as wide as possible. Carroll out on this side now has been the most dangerous player throughout the game. I'd be trying to isolate him as much as possible. And I think if they do that, they'll get their share of opportunities.
No changes from either side leading into the second half. Cairns at the moment just prepared to knock the ball around in these early stages of the second half. Well, it is put forward now for Josh Taylor.
Just been too many of those balls for my like. I just don't, it's just a hit and hope, and then hope we get a throw in or a knockdown. I mean, they've got an extra man, move the ball around, move the opponent around. That's the real challenge for Cairns now, is to exploit the extra man. And look, don't leave two spare at the back, leave one spare at the back like you normally do. At the moment, they've essentially got three guys here at the back marking one opponent, so the extra man is basically nullified.
Just inside the box for the hosts. Hands go up for offside. The flag stays down, however. Waiting there was O'Hare, was it? Or was it Taylor? It was Taylor who knocks wide of the right upright.
Well, that's a great opportunity, and it does show that, I think we said earlier, Josh Taylor is out of form. He hasn't scored for a few weeks, and he's just completely...
Just all awkward, isn't it?
Yeah, completely mistimed that. And from the moment it left the boot, you could tell it was going to be on his head, and he almost had time to bring that down. But,
he's got a smile on his face and having a good chat with David Annell.
He probably knows
opponent.
how that's going to look and how it felt, so yeah, he got it all wrong.
Here is Carroll. Now Carroll trying to get to the byline and cut back. O'Hare. Simpson sends it away. Still in dangerous territory here for Cairns.
We can't see on our screen at the moment, Rafe, but if looking here, watching the game now, Cairns have got 3 guys defending here against Jackson. Now, there's no need for 3 of those people to be there. The guy on the far side, the right fullback, he could be pushed on another 20 yards to make himself an outlet. But at the moment, they're just really 3 guys defending 1.
Carroll, fed by Kavanagh.
It's an interesting element when you've got a man advantage. Sometimes you're a little bit fearful of overcommitting yourself because you think, oh, we should win this. Perhaps we don't need to do that. But you do. You really need to take the initiative.
Owens slightly pushing forward. Now he's getting forward.
Much better where he is now.
Kavanagh. Once again, a half shout for handball.
And there he is in position to get involved straight away.
Owens. Corica turns around his man. Delivers a low cross on for O'Hare, and it skids across the face of goal. Cairns certainly come out the more lively in this opening exchange of the second half.
Yeah, excellent play from, was it Corica down the right-hand side? Not sure it was, but I think it was Kavanagh actually that might have made the run, but he's done really well, and it's not a great finish, to be honest. I can't commit to who it was. I might have got that wrong, but it's poor finishing, really. That was a good opportunity. They've had 2 good chances now in the opening 4 or 5 minutes of this half, Cairns.
High and hope. First touch of the second half for the Cairns keeper, Jackson Riley, who just casually underarms the ball for slaughter marker. Owens. Isman's got a little bit of space on this left-hand side. They choose to go down that way, Cairns. Zupo. Carroll couldn't get to the ball first, however. Taylor, one-on-one with the keeper. And once again, it's the keeper at the opposite end in Hutchings. And denies Cairns a shot on goal.
Yeah, he was good off his line there, Hutchings. He saw the danger and got out there quick. Nice passage of play from Cairns. Carroll's looking to make that run off the shoulder of his defender in that inside channel, and he's looking dangerous every time he makes that run.
Taylor has got the wrong side of the offside flag. The Armadale crowd are gone a bit silent at the moment, Nick.
Could be in the bar.
They could be.
Yeah, no, there they are on the fence there, having a great time. Can't see if anyone that...
Armadale bar on tour, Sainsbury Australia.
Bar on tour. Trent Sainsbury obviously is their man, and they're fair to say they're milking it for all they're worth. I think he's on all their banners, and good on them. They've added a lot to the night occasion, and fantastic to see them make a trip like this.
I'm sure Trent might be watching on somewhere around the world. Good evening, Trent, if you are.
I think I did see a tweet from him, another Western Australian luminary, Scott Miller, who was a fantastic player for the Perth Glory, wishing these guys good luck tonight. So, yeah, I'd imagine a few boys are watching on.
O'Hare touch on for Carroll, sends the shot straight to the keeper, however. So they are threatening Cairns. Coppin. Once again, Taylor's forced to end his run, so the flag wouldn't go up on the far side.
That's the ball they don't need to play. They've done well since this half is open. They've created 3 good opportunities by little interplay and passing and getting in between the little channels in the back, between the back 4 of Armadale. That long sort of hopeful ball like that, they don't need to play it. They've just got to be patient.
Kavanagh. Threading Taylor that time. Isman Zupo. Square for Slottermarker, and now Owens. All the way back to the keeper. Teenagers had a fine night for the Cairns club this evening. Now Carroll, has he got the right advantage of the offside flag? He has, and he opens up the scoring. 7.5 minutes into the first half, and the home crowd have gone delirious at Barlow Park as Cairns go 1-0 ahead against Armadale.
Well, for once we didn't suffer the commentator's curse. That's the ball we've been saying has been on for Cairns. They finally got it right. He's making that run all the time, Carroll. Across his defender, he's getting on the inside. The defender's in the wrong position. Perfectly weighted ball. Good finish. He has looked a classy player, Carroll. As you said, he's represented up here for a long time. A good finish. Excellent lead-up play from Cairns. That's what they need to do more of. If you're going to knock that ball, knock it into the channel where you've got someone who can run onto it. And Carroll, must say, does make the smartest runs out of anyone on the field.
Third goal of the 2018 FFA Cup campaign for Jamie Carroll. And I have a feeling that could be the first time that Cairns FC / Far North Queensland Heat have been in the lead of an FFA Cup round of 32 game. In previous history, first year they went down 4-1 to Sydney United 58. Then it went to extra time against the NPL Victoria's Oakley Cannons in 2015 and then on to penalties. 0-0 at full time, 1-1 after extra time, and 5-4 the win to Oakley on penalties. 2016 up here at Barlow Park, it was a convincing 3-0 victory by Edgeworth from Newcastle on that occasion, and last year a heavy loss to Sydney United 58, 7-2. So substitutes and reinforcements being warmed up for Armadale.
Yeah, no surprise, they haven't been in it since we've come back out for the second half. Riley, the coach of Armadale, one thing he wouldn't have wanted to do was cop an early goal in this second half, which is going to leave him more exposed with 10 players.
Dylan De Silva, it looks like, will be the man to make his appearance very shortly. So a long throwing into the box will be the tactic here again from Atkins. Over the head of both players, Carroll infringed against. That'll allow Cairns FC the opportunity to get out of their defensive half here.
What I'd really like to see Cairns do here is push for a second. They've been controlling the game for the best part of 10 minutes now of this second half. They don't look under any great threat. They've really got to push home their advantage here, because you think if they get a second, that might just about knock the stuffing out of the visitors.
Absolutely, in the context of that game, that would be crucial at this stage. It's Taylor to chase it down this time. He's beaten his man in Quincroft. They're lining up for Cairns FC as Coppin has his shot blocked there. Goal kick has already crossed the line.
Well, they made an awful mess of that in the end, Cairns. He's done really well here, Taylor. Got in behind, actually got his head up and picked out a ball, and just a lack of communication.
Confusion between he and Carroll.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just a side foot into the back of the net, really. And that, all intents and purposes, should have been game over. Armadale have got to do something on this right-hand side of their defence. They're getting exposed time in, time out now. So I don't know if that's going to be the change, but for me, they've really got to do something on this side.
An opportunity opening up, but again it's Cairns in control. Carroll with the skipper's armband. Can connect up with Taylor, although Taylor makes up for his earlier mistake, but gives away the free kick. Silver's been warming up for quite some time now. Piece of paper being handed over to the fourth official.
I'm going to call 16 as a sub, see how I go.
See how the psychic goes very shortly. Riley using the fullness of his area. This time a long ball towards the attacking third of the Cairns side of the park. Hutchings, what can he conjure up for his side? He too sends the ball long. Cairns defensive unit able to get to the ball first, however. Kavanagh. Isman. Simpson with the touch for Armadale. Carroll is the man who's wrong-footed him. Another ball into the 6-yard box. This time defended away. And now that change was made by Armadale. Spot on, Nick.
Miracles do happen.
1 from 1 for the evening. It will be Charlie Simpson who is replaced. Making his entry into the game in jersey 3 is Dylan De Silva.
Yeah, he's had a tough night there, Charlie. Look, he's been isolated. He hasn't got a lot of support from his centre halves who do, in this team, they do tend to stay very central. They don't seem to come out and help their fullbacks a great deal at all. And he's been isolated against Carroll, who's a fine player.
Whistle's being blown. Cairns contemplating a quick free kick, but thought the better of it. It's Jamie Carroll. Evades everyone.
Just said he was a quality player. He kicks it onto the running track.
So about to cross the hour mark. Cairns FC made the breakthrough via Jamie Carroll 6 minutes ago. You have just joined us, Armadale down to 10 men and have been for the best part of 40 minutes now. Something for the visiting supporters to cheer for. Quincroft. He's got no answers at the moment, unfortunately, Armadale. De Silva. Off the foot of Isman. Throw-in decision for Armadale.
You do feel this is their best chance from a set piece, either a long throw-in, if De Silva's got one, they did use it before, or a corner or something. That does look their best opportunity from open play. Certainly in the second half, they've been pretty toothless so far.
Comes towards the area, the Cairns players complaining for handball. And Galami can link up with the leading scorer in the NPLWA, Chris Jackson. Just a bit of a lull over this game at the moment.
Yeah, there is a good call. It's important for Cairns to really try and push home their advantage here. On the balance of this second half, they probably should be 2 or 3 goals to the good, and it should be nearly over. But by missing those chances, and they have had them, they've just left Armadale in the game.
Zupo. Brisbane with the defence against Jackson. He's trying hard, the Englishman. Referee playing advantage. It's that man Carroll again. Carroll off the left foot, and the save from Hutchings was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good save, good strong left hand, a good run by Carroll again. He got a little bit lucky with the ball. He played inside, came back out to him, but once again, really positive with his runs. He's happy to go inside and outside. He looks to play a little 1-2 here, perhaps gets a bit lucky, onto his left foot, good hit, and look, that's a really good strong left hand. Would have been easy just to palm that into the roof of his net, so well done by Hutchins in the goal.
Croppin. can he recycle here? Not very much. Andy Greystone, as you'd expect, pretty happy with his lineup at the moment. No sign of any changes. Just takes a swig of water on the sideline.
No, I think at this stage you'd be pretty happy with how things are rolling along. No one looks particularly fatigued. He'd know obviously better than us if anyone's got any niggles that he may need to look after, but at the moment he'd be comfortable with how things are going.
There he is on the edge of the technical area in the white collared shirt.
They certainly have done a lot better at keeping the ball in this second half. They're far more patient than they were at half time. In the first half, rather, they got the ball down. They're happy to do this and make Armadale work from side to side. When you've got that extra advantage, it's what we really need to do. Keep them moving.
Slaughter marker. Played at Broadbeach on the Gold Coast as a junior before moving to New Zealand, and as we so often see, one of those players that went off to the US college system. Carroll, Lisbon continuing on his run. Copper momentarily in the left fullback position. Kavanagh. Stray foot in there, and referee punishes it. Chris O'Hare again in. As I said before, not one to take a backward step when having a chat to the referee.
No, he has had a few chats. Just a word on young Kavanagh there for Cairns. Every time he got the ball, he looks to go forward. He's looking to try and create an opportunity all the time. Even in the first half when it was quite scrappy, he was the one player that wanted to get the ball and see if he could create something going forward. He's had a fine game.
So Hutchings the keeper. Free kick straight to Coppin. Just nothing getting forward at the moment, Armadale. Edge of the area for Hutchings. Had to play with a fine angle. Gets his ball back into circulation quickly. Try and build up from the back. Again here, the Western Australians. Again, Cairns first to the ball. Kavanagh spots Carroll, just overhit it a little bit. Keeper comes out of his area. Tries to play it with the head. Coppin. Kavanagh again.
He just overhit that one, Kavanagh, but he's got the right idea. He's not playing a straight ball. He's looking to play the diagonal in behind there, which is really what Carroll's looking for. So he's got the right idea, just a little bit of lapse in execution there let him down.
Armadale about to ready their second change of the evening. Plenty of height about to come onto the pitch too.
Absolutely.
Carroll is near the right side of the offside flag. No, he's not. I think James Sherry might have just got that one right. There we go.
Hard to tell from there.
Yeah.
Look, linesman's in a much better position than we are. Sorry, assistant referee's in a much better position than we are. So benefit out there. There wasn't a whole lot of protesting going on. But once again, it's what obviously Cairns are trying to do is find Carroll. Just want to be careful they don't go to that too often.
So it will be James Atkins that makes his departure. And as I said before, the lanky, tall Milan Ognjenovic is his replacement. State schoolboy rep back in WA. Had previous playing time at Inglewood. So the Hutchings free kick, driven into the area. It's Cairns that look to launch a counter. O'Hare. Once again, Carroll is the focal point up front, and they've got a second. Carroll with the lead-up work, but it appears as though Josh Taylor has scored midway through the second half, and Cairns are doing it comfortably at the moment at Barlow Park.
Yeah, fine goal by Cairns. They've done exactly what we've been saying they've done. They've done it twice really well, 3 times really well. Excellent play by Carroll, really unselfish there. Could have blazed away, took his time, composure, just set it up perfectly for Taylor in the middle. And you would think it's very, very difficult to see Armadale getting back into it from now. Looks like they've made a bit of a structural change. Quincroft's gone forward, but excellent play by Cairns. Both their goals haven't been flukes, they haven't been through ricochets or anything like that. They've just been really good play.
So Josh Taylor, his 4th goal in the 2018 FFA Cup. Cairns 2, Armadale 0, with just under 22 minutes remaining. Given what we've seen in this second half, it'll be tough for Armadale to get back into this game, particularly with the numerical disadvantage, but we've seen stranger things happen in the FFA Cup, Nick.
Yeah, we have. This would be a strange one, though, because they really haven't... Look, I think Uri could have played in goal second half for Cairns. He hasn't been troubled at all. They haven't created anything. Perhaps, look, set pieces, obviously their best avenue to goal at this stage, but they haven't offered a whole lot since half-time. They'll score now.
And looking to do that for Armadale was Danny Richmond. Just trying to see if a crowd's been posted yet, Nick. Doesn't look like it so far.
Well, whatever it is, the last time I mentioned it, but I have mentioned it a couple of times, fair play to those Armadale fans who made a 3,500 kilometre journey to get over there. Spoke to them before the game. Obviously they wanted to win, but they were having the time of their lives. They said, look, we've never really had a lot of success as a club, and there was no way we're going to miss a trip like this. So good on them, it's fantastic for the game.
And you said some of them took the most obvious route, which was the plane with the stopover in Alice Springs. Yesterday was when the squad arrived here in Cairns, but let's take a break at the moment as we see whether Jackson can conjure something up. Not that time round for Armadale. But you said some of them took the unthinkable trip of taking a bus all the way from Perth to Cairns.
Someone told me that there's a few that came on the bus. Now, the ones that came on plane, that's fantastic dedication. The ones that came on the bus, that's just mental. That's like 57 hours or something ridiculous like that. And, there's a difference between supporting and lunacy, and I think that one's just crossed the line. But good on them, fantastic effort, and I'm sure they'll enjoy themselves tonight.
Can't discount the home supporters, of course. We've had to go through 4 years of Cairns / the FNQ Heat not getting past this round of the competition. Looks like their fortunes may have changed in 2018, however.
Yeah, it's just disappointing that there haven't been more locals come out and watch them. You know, they put on a pretty good showing here, Cairns. They didn't start particularly well, but they've been the dominant side. And look, to have a crowd that's, maybe 300-400, it's pretty disappointing that the locals haven't come out and supported them. I know there's infighting in the local community, but football community, but geez, come on, you're their local team, get out and support them.
Maybe if they are successful in this scoreline remaining as it is, and there's an A-League team that comes to town, might see a few more. box. Tested was the keeper. I think it was Corica that get the shot away. It was.
Well, it's a shooting gallery now, isn't it? They're just taking their time. Carroll's toying with them out here, just, you know, picking the passes out as he wants. And, you know, there's another goal on the cards here for sure.
Again losing out. The defender that time. Carroll. Turn was the call for Taylor. Plays it back for Carroll. It's a procession at the moment for Cairns. Have they got a fourth? It's across the face. Once again. O'Hare this time.
Yeah, excellent play again by Carroll. It's lazy sort of defending by De Silva. He's only come on 20 minutes ago and he's just ambling back in defence and letting Carroll do what he wants. Their life's really gone out of Armadale now.
Thought the 15 Galami for Armadale's fought hard for his side.
Yeah, worked very hard. Look, it's hard to say they haven't worked hard. They've just been up against it since they lost the man. And certainly since the half-time break, it's been pretty well one-way traffic. But in saying that, fair play to Cairns and their coach. He's obviously said, look, we need to take advantage of that extra man. Don't sit back, push on, play yourselves an extra, you know, push one out of defence. Don't leave too many back there. They've played it really well, moved the ball around and, you know, just what you want to see when you've got that man advantage.
Carroll. Isman. Zupo. Start again, says Danny Greystone. Isman. Carroll. Zupo. He's beaten one, he's beaten two. Outside the area is the keeper to chest it down. Over the head of the leading marksman, Jackson.
Just to mention on him, Zupo, I've liked his game. He's quite composed on the ball. He's happy to carry it out of defence. I think from memory he might have been the one that played the ball through for the first goal for Carroll, but makes a good run out of defence and picks his pass. It looks a fair player.
No doubt that's why he's picked up by Cairns as one of the two visa players that they're allowed to have for this season. Spicker and Jackson linking up once more for Armadale. Kenner delivers a ball into the box and Owens gets a foot to it first and content to play it out for a corner as Cairns are about to make their first change of the evening. After this corner, no doubt from Armadale though. Wicked angle on it. The overhead, bicycle kick. And off target as Cairns FC make their change. And coming off will be Ari Isman, no doubt. Just short of game time and probably running out of legs. Coming on in his place in jersey 13 will be Alex Sargent. No rush to get off the park and soak up some more vital seconds.
Yeah, look, we're ebbing down now, aren't we, Rafe? I mean, I think it's fairly clear that Armadale haven't got any shots left to fire. Just a few hopeful efforts, but yeah, well played to Isman. He's worked hard. He gets his rest. Nice to see another guy experience the victory in the cup. And look, it's all to play for next round for Cairns. They've been to the round of 16, which is great for a regional side. We don't see it very often. I know they're an NPL side, but they are still a regional centre, so it's a super effort.
Perhaps Carroll's still got more in him. Is the flag going to go up? It's going to stay down because Carroll also was offside, but Taylor wasn't. Probably maybe an opportunity for some of the other Cairns youngsters to get some game time towards the end here.
It does look a fairly youthful bench they've got sitting over there, so I can imagine, although they've seem to have stopped warming up now, so maybe that is it unless something happens.
There's a mix of youth and experience, several teenagers in the Cairns squad. And more experienced type over 30s like Chris O'Hare.
That's a good ball.
This is Taylor, meanwhile. Here is the aforementioned O'Hare. Not far away at all. Looking to get himself on this score sheet this evening.
That would have been a good goal. That was excellent play by Cairns. The young guy that's just come on there, Sargent's played an excellent ball down the line there. He's really clipped it nicely. And some patience around the box too. They didn't just blaze away. It was a nicely worked move.
Bounces between Coppin and Rossidis. Good touch by O'Hare for Coppin. Counter from Armadale. Perhaps there may be some late consolation for them. It's the substitute, Haslett. Corner here for the visitors.
It's one of the only times in the second half they've actually got in behind the Cairns defence with some nice little interplay. They just don't do it often enough for mine. They get a little bit Route 1 style with their football. When they've got a bit of pace, they should use it a bit more often.
What can they do here? Armadale. Rossidis into the side netting. They're looking for a corner, but
I thought it was a corner. I thought it clearly got a deflection, but the keeper didn't. He was happy to let it go out when he could have simply caught it. It's not going to make any difference now, but yeah, I thought they'd be a bit stiff not to get a corner there.
long trip home for the Armadale supporters. Will no doubt console themselves in the local Cairns bars this evening.
Yeah, I think down the Strand in Cairns will be pretty busy tonight. I think not just the supporters, I think the players will get out and enjoy themselves. They've had a good run and had a great cup experience, so why not enjoy it?
Corica. O'Hare. Again, Cairns attack. Carroll switch wings. Coppin. Cairns lining up another shot. This time was touched by Hutchings. Under 2 minutes to play here at Barlow Park. Plus stoppages.
Didn't get a lot of help from his defenders there, Hutchins, did he? Cairns were able to just wander across the edge of the 18-yard box and pick a spot to have a shot. So he's left on his own a little bit there, but look, plenty of fatigue out there now. I think the Cairns players they're probably starting to feel it as well.
Short there is Kavanagh. He's maybe looking to just keep it in the corner. Carroll exit. No, perhaps we're going to try for one more. Here he's getting involved, the Cairns skipper, and that will result in a goal kick.
Has he only ever played in the north of the state? Carl, he hasn't ventured south?
As far as I'm aware, Nick, yeah, that's the case. He did trial for the Brisbane Roar in 2013 or 2014, it might have been. Played a game against Lions, I think. 2013, I think it was.
Righto.
Him and Chris Lucas from Palm Beach at the time, being looked at by the Roar.
I think he's certainly been the best player on the field tonight. He's obviously got a bit of experience under his belt, but he's got quality touches and he knows where to make his runs. He's been coached well and educated well in the game. And look, I'm not sure if he's, how his trial went or that, but he's certainly a player that.
And there's a fourth goal. It is Chris O'Hare that does get on the score sheet, and Cairns make it 4. And once again, the home crowd have gone off on the far side.
That's a great strike. He's had a couple of easier chances than that tonight. And probably the most difficult, certainly the most difficult one he's hit that really well. Once again, cross comes in, average sort of clearance, but on the chest, on the volley, super strike into the bottom corner. Not much the keeper could have done. Their last 2 goals have been sensational. In fact, all the 4 goals they've scored in the second half have been great efforts, and a fine way to finish off the game for Cairns, and an excellent final 45 minutes.
Bunch of supporters that does come, they are pretty tight-knit with the players being in a relatively small community. In the meantime, we saw the 4th official, Alex King, signal 3 minutes of stoppage time, of which we've completed 1 of those. Pretty even first half, as the scoreline at half-time suggested that Cairns have had all the answers in this second period. We've got a man of the match, Nick.
I think that's a pretty easy one, isn't it? I think you'd have to give that to Carroll. I think he's been, I wouldn't say he's been the difference between the teams, but he's been outstanding. There's been a couple of others for Cairns that I've really liked. I thought Kavanagh's been excellent. Zupo at the back as well has been nice and imposing. The young keeper, only 17 in the first half. He made 2 excellent saves. The one save, the second one I expected him to make, but the save off the header from the corner from Jackson was a good save. And that, you know, just turning points in games, and he kept them in it at 0-0 then, and who knows what would have happened if that had gone in. So well played to him. But yeah, for me, Carroll clearly the best player on the field.
Taylor nutmegs Anil, and in the dying stages of this encounter, Cairns will have a corner. They might just be content to play it in that portion of the field.
I also mentioned Coppin in the midfield for Cairns, who does have a bit, I think he's a Sydney FC Youth League player, and he's played at a reasonable level. To me, he's clearly injured. He's got a really heavy strappy on. He's not moving overly well, but particularly in the second half, he's kept the ball moving quite well.
By the way, those supporters you can hear in the background are the team that are down 4-0. They're singing right through to the final whistle, despite the scoreline.
Tell you what, I wouldn't mind going to an Armadale home game in Perth in one of their big derbies or something they play. I think it'll be a fairly entertaining afternoon.
So we've completed 3 minutes of stoppage time. This is perhaps the last play of the game. It was 0-0 at half-time, but second half goals to Jamie Carroll, Josh Taylor, Bronson Coppin and Chris O'Hare has sealed Cairns FC first passage through to the round of 16 at Barlow Park in Cairns. It's Cairns FC 4, Armadale Soccer Club 0.